Um, I was also reading, I was finding that there's also like committees or human rights groups that are actually fronts for spy activity. Defense contractor organizations, they don't have to be defense contractors, but contractor organizations. Um, so spy organization fronts can sometimes seem similar to laundering or trafficking, but they're usually on larger scales. They want to be more international, or they want to be placed in another country, because that's the point of spying, right? Um, so they want to be getting their fingers in as many pies as possible. Also, you really want to think about information-related organizations. For examples, for example, magazines, newspapers, or tech companies. The CIA apparently had a front making helicopters or something in Arizona. That's kind of funny because I actually had a family member that, if I remember correctly, did fix helicopters for some time in Arizona, but but they were in a different city than the front that I read about. The front was in a different Arizona city, but funny, they're both in Arizona. Um, Spy fronts can also be used for terrible, terrible, evil things like torture, and a torture spy front might be something like a prison. Um, I know I've read a lot about rehabilitation centers and mental hospitals being used for experimentation in the past, and this isn't quote unquote spy stuff, but it's often run by the same federal organizations that would have spies. It seems that sometimes feds watch something fictional and maybe they get like a little bit of a fire burning inside them, and all of a sudden they can't separate reality from fiction, and they just have to find out that if something could be real in real life or not. They just can't separate what is real from what is fake, and then they do experimentations with torture or sacrifice, and they try to see if they can push people or if they can create magic rituals to see if rituals actually have things happen, or they push to try to break people to see if they can maybe get like psychic powers out of them or something, like really stuff that like doesn't exist. But they're gonna say, well, if you didn't experiment, how do you know it doesn't exist? Like, and that's where you get like, if a federal agent wants to find out if something's real or not, then they don't have any mental health issues. Everybody else, whoever is curious about that kind of thing, will, though. Um, I also found an article. I found two articles with a bunch of claimed CIA fronts. One article was a Wikipedia article, and one article was not a Wikipedia article. And on this other article, um, not that Wikipedia is always the most authentic, but on the other article, there was a listing of a Church of Satan being ran by the CIA. And I was concerned about the authenticity of it. I didn't just want to believe it. So I looked it up, and I found some proof that it was authentic, that there was a Church of Satan that was actually being run by the CIA. And then, while looking into that, I found something else about children who are apparently being abused and involved in Satanism. Something called the Finders. If you look into the Finders, there's seemingly authentic case files about a CIA operation involving kidnapping children and Satanism. Something that apparently some FBI agents actually uncovered. And I've actually read about the Finders before. I kind of want to make an individual video just on the Finders. I listened to a couple of videos about it before when I was playing Wolfenstein Youngblood in the past, but I don't remember too much about the Finders. I just remember that the CIA was kidnapping children and they were doing things with them. I don't remember exactly what they were doing things with, what they were doing to them. I remember it was bad. Um, and I'm reading here that there was Satanism involved, so probably really bad. Okay, so aside from fronts like these, there are bound to be self-operated fronts of a large variety. Think like hidden basement activity, or hidden cellar activity, maybe like hidden what do you call the space above a house? Um, that's not the cellar, is it? No, the cellar is usually below the house, right? I don't know why I forget what that's called, but just like hidden activity that individuals who run like a small shop may have, and you have no idea like what kind of petty or not so petty evil things could be happening in those fronts. So what do you want to look out for when you're going through shops? When you're actually going around downtown, maybe you're going shopping, maybe you're in a new city or something, you're just like looking around, sightseeing, just like taking in the world. What you want to look for is equipment that never changes. So it seems like they have products that nobody ever really buys. Um, you also want large staff. You also want to look for a large staff and a successful business that never seems to be very busy, because it's like, how are they paying these people? Who are these people? How are they so successful if they don't get a lot of activity? Apparently, you can look at their website.